Good morning and welcome to Monday Morning Messages. Real quick, I want to jump right into our assembly that we're going to have this morning during second block. Again, an assembly for our 11th and 12th graders. We're going to call for seniors first, of course, and then followed by juniors just a little bit into second block. We should be over with and back to class before third block begins. Mr. Larry Thornton, a motivational speaker, philanthropist, and more importantly, a doer and servant for young folks. It has been for many, many years. So I think our 11th and 12th graders are going to be inspired and also motivated by Mr. Thornton's spiel this morning. Also, this coming Wednesday, we have JCAP. And then, of course, on Thursday, we are going to have an assembly for our 9th and 10th graders. Mr. Foster, our 9th and 10th grade counselor, has put together, I think, what will be a very great assembly program for our 9th and also 10th graders for this upcoming Thursday. And we hope to get that in the morning activity period. That being said, we do know that this Friday concludes our first 9 weeks, believe it or not. I know it seems like for some it's drug and others it's kind of flown by. I know for me it seems like it's just the 9 weeks has evaporated right before our very eyes. That being said, we certainly know that we need to have 6 standard-based assessments in iNow, our grade book, and more importantly, obviously, we're looking at our other assessments that we do in an effort to ensure with 100% efficacy that these standards are in fact being taught and of course the instructional shifts that are taking place in your classroom helps to validate that, of course, that you are doing what you need to do in an effort to ensure that we are reaching the various styles of learners. Also, learning targets and formative assessment is going fairly well. Going into classrooms, we see learning targets visible, and we are able to identify in student-friendly language what, in fact, that the standards are connecting with our students, what they're connecting to. So our students have a good ideal, a good grasp of, in fact, the standards based on the learning targets, the bell ringers that you have set, and then, of course, you're doing a good job informatively assessing what your students are, in fact, receiving in terms of your instructional process. So that seems to be going very, very well. Each individual, or should I say each teacher, should have received the Elliott observation. If you have not by now, you will have by the end of this week. Certainly our goal is to make sure that each teacher has an observation once every 9 weeks, a formal observation, so we can sit down again and have great talking points about, of course, the level of instruction and certainly what you're doing in an effort to meet the needs of our students. Also, RTI documentation. Please make sure that you're with Ms. Gallimore. For certainly any student that is not faring very well in your class, you should have already gotten with Ms. Gallimore and created an RTI plan. Certainly for those students in your class, certainly reaching out and documenting parent call logs that you're making contact with parents and ensuring that the parents are aware of what's going on in respect to the certain student who is not performing academically to standard. That being said, certainly we want to make sure that we're getting those all important things done in a timely fashion. Certainly, as we move forward into the next 9 weeks, I don't know if we've got out there yet the information that we need to in respect to semester exams, but we will be taking semester exams before we break for Christmas. I will get you those dates. We'll get it in an email, and of course, it's important that we begin to gear up because we're going to blink our eyes and we're going to be out for Thanksgiving, and we're going to come back, and then, of course, we're looking at getting ready for semester exams. And so there's not certainly to belabor, but it's important that we want to make sure that the students finish on a high note. Certainly a lot of you have had the opportunity to see that we have scored a 79 on the A through F report card. That's not obviously where we want to be. It's a decrease, and it's time to celebrate that we did move the needle forward from a 77 to a 79. But it's very critically important that we continue to work, because I do believe that certainly we are a B school. And if we're going to ascertain that status or that grade level, then it's going to take all hands in and making sure that we're continue to work hard. We're continue to push the envelope and letting students know that certainly you need to come to school, number one, as that is a part of the A through F report card. But also when you get to school, you need to work as hard as you possibly can in an effort to master these standards. So, folks, continue the great work. Continue to do the things that you know to be good, best practices for meeting the needs of our students. We thank you for all you do, and we'll continue to work as hard as we possibly can for you as an administrative team. That being said, have a productive week, and also big shout out to our band. Certainly doing an amazing job at Pell City this past weekend. Couldn't have done any better myself, right? Mr. Brandenburg and Miss Green, hats off to you guys and our band superiors. We're doing great things here at Pinson Valley. That being said, here at Pinson Valley, we will continue to promote achievement, respect, and also success. Do have a productive week.